Lesson 9.3 is on understanding slope, and you may ask, slope of what? And it's actually slope of a graph, of a linear function, something that has an input, an output, and a rule. And when you do an XY chart and put it on a coordinate grid, you get a line that travels in a certain direction. This lesson is more on sort of a general, broad understanding of what slope means. You can think of it a bit like skiing on a mountain. If you're going uphill on your mountain, that would be what a positive slope is. So here you are working really hard to go up the hill, and you're going in a positive direction. If you go from right to left, and from right to left, and you're going up, it's a positive. If you're going down, it's a negative slope, and that's a lot more fun if you're doing skiing. And sometimes you find yourself on flat land where there's no slope at all, and that's zero slope. And probably the scariest of all, you'd say, okay, the rise, we don't go up at all, so rise is 0, and we go over a certain amount, and you can pick a number. You can say maybe 5. But it doesn't matter what that number is, doesn't matter what this number is, the slope is still 0. So when we get into the next lesson, 9.4, we'll do a little bit more formulas and mathematics, but this is sort of a lesson on just kind of get the big picture of what slope means. If you're going this direction. And actually, by the definition, when you get the sort of the formula for slope, you'll see why this is undefined, because it involves dividing by 0. The next lesson really has a lot more formulas and how we work with numbers to get slope, but I'd like to take a quick look at what's coming up. Slope would be, you don't even have to have the coordinate grid in here. You see, you go up a certain number. You go up this far. Let's just pick a number and say it's 15. So you go up 15, but you don't go over at all. So you go over 0, and you can see the problem. You can't divide anything by 0, and that's why that vertical line is an undefined slope. If we go back to the horizontal, this is a picture of a function. Would be something like y equals x, basically. So it would be this formula, y equals x. Because if x is 0, y is 0. If x is 10, y is 10. And what happens is you go over. Let me pick a different color on this one. Yeah. If you go over, we go over 10 and up. Actually, I should say, if you go from, I should do it the other way. Let me try to start over again with this. If you're going from this point to this point, you have to think, how do I get there? And you want to think about how far up you go, that is the rise, and how far over you go, that's the run. So kind of a handy-dandy way to remember what slope means is that slope means rise over run, and rise means how far you go up. So if I start from here, I go up 10, and over 10, and so the rise is 10, and the run is 10, and the slope, well, I'll just leave that mark in there, is equal to 1, because 10 over 10 is 1. And if you think back to, let me go back.